Blood has three main functions: transport, homeostasis, and protection. Blood helps us to transport gases such as carbon dioxide and oxygen, nutrients such as glucose, amino acids, fatty acids and glycerol, and nucleotides, wastes such as uric acid and urea, ions such as sodium, potassium, chloride, calcium, hormones, etc. Blood also helps us to maintain homeostasis. We already learned how blood helps to maintain temperature balance. It also maintains water balance, acid base balance, and salt balance. The other main function of blood is protection. Through the function of white blood cells, blood helps us to fight off infections. So it provides immunity, long-term immunity against infectious agents. Let's take a quick look at blood composition. If we were to draw blood and place it in a test tube and centrifuge the test tube, blood will separate into three layers. The bottom layer that you see in red here are packed with red blood cells. The next layer, which is the buffy layer, is made up of white blood cells and platelets. The top transparent liquid layer is made up of plasma. The white blood cells, platelets, and red blood cells together make up what we called formed elements. Formed elements largely determine the viscosity or thickness of blood. The plasma, on the other hand, determines the osmolarity of blood. Plasma proteins, glucose, and salts in blood, they determine the osmolarity of blood. Let's take a closer look at these two blood properties, viscosity and osmolarity, and we will see how, when either one of them is too high or too low, they result in health consequences. Here's viscosity, which is the thickness of blood, and this is osmolarity, which has to do with solute concentration in the plasma. So, when viscosity is too high, it increases blood pressure, and that places an enormous burden on the heart, and so it results in heart problems. If the viscosity is too low, then the blood is too thin and it ends up with too much bleeding, excessive and unnecessary bleeding. Osmolarity. If the osmolarity is too high, water enters blood vessels and so blood volume and blood pressure go up. So osmolarity, increased osmolarity, leads to high blood pressure. If it's too low, it ends up with edema. Let's learn some terminology before we move forward and learn about blood cell formation. Here's a new word, erythropoiesis. Erythro means red and poiesis means formation or creation. So erythropoiesis is the formation of red blood cells. Here's another word, erythropoietin. We know that erythro means red, poiesis means formation, but the suffix "n" means protein. So erythropoietin is a protein that helps in the formation of red blood cells. Hemopoiesis. Hemo means blood. Hemopoiesis is the formation of all blood cells. So it's a more general term. Erythropoiesis is just red blood cell formation. Hypoxemia. Hypo, as you know, means low. Oxy, what does that sound like? Oxygen. Emia means blood condition. So a blood condition in which there is less oxygen, or in other words, there is less oxygen in the blood. How is the rate of erythropoiesis regulated? Or how does the body know when to make red blood cells? The body knows when there is hypoxemia. When you run out of oxygen, the levels of oxygen in blood go down, and this is sensed by the liver and the kidneys. They are activated to produce a hormone called EPO, or erythropoietin. This is the protein that increases the rate of erythropoiesis. This must happen in the bone marrow. So EPO acts on the bone marrow, which becomes activated, and so the rate of erythropoiesis goes up. As a result, the number of red blood cells increases. As we know, red blood cells carry oxygen, and this brings the level of oxygen in blood back to normal. This is a negative feedback loop, starting with low oxygen and ending with increased levels of oxygen.